But voter apathy might be the thing that swings this election one way or the other. Let's take a look. Right, so here's the thing, mate, right? If you want the Tories to win, but you're not going to vote because you think they won't win, then they won't win. And if you want Labour to win, but you're not going to vote because you think they will win, then they won't win, right? And if you don't want either of them to vote, then just stay at home. But don't fucking moan when they come for your kids. How am I voting? It's complicated. It's complicated. It's complicated because right, I have never in my life voted for anyone that wins. Never, not once. No, I never voted for Tony Blair because I hated him. Because from day one I could see that he was a disingenuous, grinning Cheshire twat who hoodwinked a nation into thinking a centrist warmonger could speak the language of ordinary, hard-working people. She was the people's princess, so now let's, in her memory, lock and load and go and kill some Iraqi women and children. So, I just dabbled with the Lib Dems until Blair was gone. So the first time I ever voted for Labour was for Gordon Brown in that election where he called that dear old lady who was worried about immigration a fucking Nazi. Yeah, and I have voted for Labour ever since, and it hasn't gone well. I'm a bad omen. I'm a bad omen. So this time, who I want to win and who I'm voting for are two separate things. Yeah. Who do I want to win? Look, it's worth pointing out exactly what Labour did right for this country. By the time Gordon Brown left office, yes, they'd started putting the NHS out to tender, but there was also record investment in it, and the NHS was possibly in the best shape it has ever been. Yes, they ended free university, but investment in state education was probably the best it had ever been. There was a decent, functioning social safety net for the most vulnerable people in our society, and by today's standards, relative control of immigration. But, that was then. That was then, and this is now. And now we have Sir Keir Starmer, who is awkward as fuck. He's very dull. He's a bit like an untrained AI or a very realistic Jim Henson puppet, minus any charm. He's a bit slug-like, again with that odd, strange nasal voice, like Ed Miliband eating a dry cake. But he is from working class stock, as he keeps reminding us. My dad was a tool maker, yeah, and I'm looking right at one. Yes, and my mum was chronically ill and I had to nurse her from a very young age. It's difficult to find fault there, actually. But I don't know. I don't know what to say. He's shit. And I have been amazed at how shit and unpolished and unmedia trained Starmer is. But there is a simple choice to be had this election. Vote the Tories out or don't. There is a choice. Sunak or Starmer. Sunak, a multi-millionaire hedge fund manager come disaster capitalist, or Starmer, a human rights lawyer. It's got to be a step in the right direction, right? When these Tories shout and attack him, look at this human rights lawyer, fucking expert in human rights. We don't need human rights, we're British. When they do that, they look mildly stupid. They look like dicks. It's not like the last Labour leader who the Tories successfully managed to frame as an IRA sympathising anti-Semite who makes his own jam. And rightly or wrongly, Jeremy Corbyn proved that he was unelectable. Twice. It's difficult to remember, right? The last election was a clean sweep for the Tories. Boris winning a huge majority by hiding in a fridge. People were talking about 10 years of Boris. Labour were on the floor. They were torn apart. And now they kind of look just about ready to govern. Arguably, the Tories have done more to get Labour in power than Labour have, but that is quite an achievement in 5 short years. But here's the thing. Winning isn't enough. The Labour manifesto is dog shit. Gone is any trace of Labour being left-wing anymore. It's champagne socialism minus the socialism. Fiscal responsibility, yeah, fine, I get it. But what is your moral mission? Give me something to just give me a little bit of blood in my cock. Come on, where is the we will end rough sleeping in our first term and mean it? In 5 years we will eradicate the need for food banks. Or there are more food banks in this country than there are McDonald's. We are going to change that, and not by just opening more McDonald's. You know, where is the promise? Where is the hope? The hope that we can all work hard and strive for better in our lives, safe in the knowledge that we live in a country where the people with the most money pay their fair share, and where being born into poverty has no bearing on the education or the healthcare that you receive. Without that promise, without that hope, what's the fucking point? Starmer, he gets my vote. Fine. But he needs to do better, and he better not fuck this up. But of course he doesn't get my vote, because I'm not voting Labour, because I want Labour to win, and my vote is a bad omen. So, I don't know. Is the monster raving loony party still a thing? Yeah, thank you. Well, with so many undecideds, some in the Labour Party are openly worried that low voter turnout could take its toll.